It's Makeda Voletta. I am live on my YouTube page. Haven't been live on here in a while. The Body Scientist 81. And I'm also recording this in another camera so I can post it on to my Instagram. Because when I do lives on YouTube, I can never download it and upload it onto Instagram. And I have a block on my Instagram page right now. Ask me why, I don't know. They're always blocking me and deleting my stuff, so make sure you follow me everywhere. If you're on YouTube, follow me on Instagram, and if you're on Instagram, follow me on YouTube. In case you don't know me, I'm Makeda Voletta, and I am an exercise physiologist, a nutritionist, a holistic nutritionist who has a serious, who's rooted in traditional foods. I am also a dancer, former athlete. I have a degree in exercise and sports science and nutrition science, and I'm currently working on a Master of Science in medical cannabis science. And I have committed myself, I'm also a doula and a sacred sexual educator as well, okay? So to me, holistic health is mind, body, and soul. And that also includes our sexuality as well, right? And our sexual energy. And I think I said I'm a dancer. I think that I said that. Yeah. So that's who I am in case you don't know. So I am live from the Dominican Republic. I'm currently in Las Tarenas, which is in Samana. And I'm sorry if I keep looking around. I don't know where to look, which camera to look at. And I'm also trying to look at the screen for my my YouTube live people commenting. Yeah, so I'm in Las Tarenas in Samana, Dominican Republic, and before that I was in Santo Domingo, and for a couple of days. And everywhere I go, I'm always analyzing the access that people have to a healthy, active lifestyle. When I travel, I don't stay at resorts. Like I did not stay at a resort in Dominican Republic. Right now I'm at an Airbnb. If you want to see more about that, you can follow my travel page. I have a page, Makeda Voletta Travels, and on that page I talk about those things and get into how I'm traveling and why I'm traveling. But there's numerous reasons. But no matter where I go, I'm always looking at people's access to a healthy, active lifestyle. And I'm doing it because I'm curious. But I'm also doing it because when I travel, I need those things. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't just eat anything. Eating crappy food and chemical food and ultra processed food makes me sick, and I don't do it. So, or when I'm putting on my skin, why I travel with my own soap, because I'm not going, just a lot of different things. So, and so I'm always looking at people's access, even when I'm in the States, okay? When I'm in different states, different cities, same thing, right? I'm always analyzing that. So I talk about that a lot. Somebody asked, is the Dominican Republic safe? I feel extremely safe here, okay? There's not one moment, all right, that I have ever felt unsafe here. From the time that I got off the plane and went through customs, and got in the taxi, okay, from that moment until this very moment right now, I have never felt unsafe here, okay? So I'm just going to say that. But that's the same way it is in my neighborhood in New York. I am from the border of Washington Heights and Harlem, okay? Washington Heights is called Little Dominican Republic. If you look on a map, that's what it says. I'm from where Harlem ends and Washington Heights begins, okay? And so I grew up around a lot of Dominicans, and in Harlem, in the Heights, it's supposed to be dangerous. I never felt in danger there. Now, I'm not going to say stuff doesn't happen, but I've never felt unsafe there either, in my own neighborhood, all right? So, okay. So with that being said, there's a bunch of things that I want to go through, and this is not a complete list because, I'm just talking about my observations, the things that I know thus far and the things that I've seen. So if anybody is well versed on these things that I'm speaking about in the Dominican Republic and you want to add to it, or, let me know, because I definitely, the Dominican Republic is definitely a country that I want to explore more, and I will be exploring more. And for a long time, I was against coming here, and I'm not going to get into that on this page. I will speak about that more on my other page, The Renaissance Amazon, which is my page. It's more centered around my artistic and social activism side, and also my other page, Makeda Voletta Travels. Makeda Voletta Travels is where I'm talking about my travels and certain things. So in those two pages, you can look for me to get into that. On this video, I'm really going to get into health, um, access to a healthy, active lifestyle. Access to a healthy, active lifestyle, okay? And those of you who follow my work, you know that I'm a believer in traditional foods. If you haven't seen my YouTube video on why I believe in traditional foods, definitely take a look at it, okay? Because it's really important. I believe in sustainable agriculture. I believe in sustainable agriculture, getting things from local farmers, eating, foods that kept the foods that people, the foods that people that have kept people healthy for generations. Okay, where you see people who've lived to 95 plus 100 for generations. What did those people eat? Okay, the ones who were giving birth to 13 kids like it was nothing. What did they eat? Generation after generation. Okay. And the Western science backs it up. It's just that when you go to school for nutrition, they indoctrinate you, okay? And the graduate program I was in, my first graduate program at Columbia University, it was a massive science program in applied physiology and nutrition. They were the only program in the country that did not take money from the food industry. All nutrition programs in this country are funded by the food companies. The same way all the medical programs and the pharmaceutical programs are funded by the drug companies, okay? And they are the same people, all right? So understand that I have this background in this nutritional science, but I'm not indoctrinated like most nutritionists. So a lot of things that you hear me say is not what you hear a lot of registered dietitians. I mean, there are some that understand, but far and few between, okay? Same thing with doctors, okay? Now, when I'm talking about I'm sorry. So when I'm talking about health, right? Like when I was even doing a search on YouTube for videos that people had done on health in the Dominican Republic, because there's certain things that when I travel, I observe, okay? Like I look at the condition of the people, okay? Like here, people are very well built, okay? Same thing when I went to Haiti back in 2010. When I went to Haiti in 2010, I had so many well-formed, strong people, okay? The kids to the old people, all right? And definitely here too, I think. And so to me, I'm like, okay, if people are looking like they reached, if people look like they're reaching their genetic potential and their physical peak, like I don't see a lot of people with glasses, okay? I wear glasses. Okay, that's not, there's more and more people that have bad eyesight, more than we know, because a lot of people who have bad eyesight are getting surgery or they're wearing contacts, and I stopped wearing contacts years ago because I started thinking, I don't like putting these chemicals on my eye all the time and putting this thing on my eyeball, and something about it just wasn't right to me, and I'm like, this can't be good. And I hate wearing glasses, but I also hated wearing contacts. And I just saw an article recently that the chemicals in contacts actually cause some type of cancer or something, which I knew over a decade ago. Because I didn't need to study, I just knew it. It's common sense, right? It causes something. Maybe I'll do a video about it, but it's just not good. Anyhow, yeah, so most people, they're just, when they talk about health in a certain country, they're just talking about the healthcare system. They're just talking about what happens when you get sick, somebody gets sick or has a medical emergency and they have to go to the hospital. What happens? How much is it going to cost for you to get your care? And that's basically what people focus on. For me, when I talk about health, okay, if you look at all my videos about health, I'm never talking about how good your care is at the hospital, okay? I'm talking about how not to get into the hospital. Now, it's one thing if you're in the hospital, God forbid, because of a freak accident. You got in a car accident or you got attacked, that's one thing. But if you're in the hospital because of a health condition that didn't need to be, okay, then to me, true health care is not being in the hospital or in a nursing home because you have all these freaking problems, okay? So that's why I'm looking at access to a healthy, active lifestyle. Hold on a second. I'm looking at my comments. Ellen, your grandfather lived to 98 years old with his right mind, teeth, and walking and talking. He passed last Monday, right before his 99th birthday. Wow, that's what's up, Ellen. And you're Haitian, aren't you? If I remember correctly. And I'm sure he ate a lot of pork, right? I'm sure he ate a lot of pork. Yep, Haitian, yep. Let me tell you, when I went to Haiti in 2010. It was, sorry about the dogs. I went to Haiti in 2010, and it was right after the earthquake, okay? And I remember, no, those are not my dogs. I'm in Dominican Republic. Those, you know how Latin America, they got stray dogs everywhere. So, I don't know. And here there's a lot of stray cats too, which I feel like is so cute, because I love cats. The dogs, I'm like, just don't come near me. Like, they just be wanting to. Certain people of a certain complexion will pet the strays. I'm like, how are you petting stray dogs? Especially when you're eating. I'm like, no. Don't even brush up on me. That's how I feel. Because you get inoculated with whatever's on that dog. But anyhow, thank you for the compliments. I appreciate it. So Haiti, right? And I went there in 2010. At that time in my life, maybe for a few years, I wasn't eating pork, right? I grew up eating pork. I grew up eating shellfish. My family's from Florida, in Pennsylvania and Florida, okay? But I don't know if it was like 2004, 2005. I read this book by a man named Jordan S. Rubin called The Maker's Diet. He's a Jewish naturopathic doctor and nutritionist, I think. And he almost died from Crohn's disease. And I learned a lot from him because I think both of his parents were like holistic doctors, and they sent him all over the place trying to figure out a cure for Crohn's disease, which is a really miserable autoimmune disease. And I read his stuff back in 2003, 2004, 2005, something like that. And I learned about, I always knew about microbiomes. Those of you who follow me, you see that I talk about that all the time. But he talked about homeostatic soil organisms, which are a very important organism that should be in the soil. We should get inoculated with this organism when we're playing in the dirt, okay? When we're gardening, eating fruits and vegetables, we should be getting inoculated with homeostatic soil organisms. These microorganisms produce hydrogen peroxide, okay? And hydrogen peroxide kills basically every virus and bacteria that exists because it's full of oxygen, H2O2. And it's known that oxygen kills those things. It makes a hostile environment for infectious disease, okay? So when you have a lot of homeostatic soil organisms in your gut, on your skin, if you get exposed to an infectious disease, because we can never control what we get exposed to. Anybody can cough in your face. Any of the food that you eat could be contaminated. You know what I'm saying? It's microorganisms. You can't see it, okay? Unless you want to walk around in a plastic bubble your whole life because you're afraid of you can get exposed to infectious diseases and microorganisms at any moment, from the water you drink, from the food that you eat, from the air that you breathe, okay? And we don't find out about an outbreak until after people have died, okay? So again, prevention is what I'm talking about with health. First and foremost, building a strong foundation. So if you have a lot of good bacteria, hydrogen peroxide producing bacteria in your gut, on your skin, if you get exposed to an infectious organism, it can't survive in your ecosystem. We have our own ecosystems. I'm not going to get super in depth about this now because I have other videos where I talk about that, and I'll post it below on my YouTube. Some of you who've been following me for a long time know about this. But anyhow, this man, Jordan S. Rubin, I really respected him, and I never use religion to dictate what I'm eating. So I know Muslims didn't eat pork, and but that's religious. Like, there's a difference between, some people do have religious taboos, right? People in the Yoruba and Ifa faith, there's certain foods they can't eat. It's not because that food is bad for everybody. It just is not good for them and what's going on with them and their spiritual thing, right? But you still can get those nutrients another way. Like if you don't eat pork, pork is very high in vitamin A, very high in vitamin D, very high in oleic acid, which is and other fats that are very antimicrobial. Oleic acid is very good for your heart. Oleic acid is the main fatty acid that's in olive oil, okay? Very much so in lard. And so, but if somebody didn't eat pork, you can also get that vitamin D and vitamin A if you eat liver. You can get it if you eat fish eggs. You can eat it if you get it if you consume a lot of grass-fed butter and grass-fed dairy. So there's other ways to get vitamins A and D if you don't eat pork, right? But for someone to say, I'm not eating any animal foods, then you have a problem. Okay, so anyhow, I had stopped eating pork for a few years because he was saying what he was saying and about that and shellfish. That made sense to me a little bit at the moment because he did give a scientific reason. But I remember going to Haiti in 2010, and it was right after the earthquake, and we had to eat whatever people gave us, which is also the case a lot of times in certain countries, okay? It's not like in the U.S. Like, even with me, like I had to, calm myself down a couple hours ago because I was a little frustrated because I couldn't get what I wanted, okay? Like, there are certain, like when you travel and you're in another country, especially on a small island, and even though Haiti and Dominican Republic are, they're in the same island and they're bigger than most islands in the Caribbean, it's still small. Like there's whole states in the U.S. that's bigger than it, right? So you're going to be limited, okay? And it can just be frustrating. So I forgot what my point was. Oh yes, when I was in Haiti. And this is back in 2010, okay? So first of all, the first thing I remember seeing was I saw such strong little kids and old people. I saw old women in Haiti walking up mountains, okay, with like a freaking big ass suitcase in their head. They weren't even holding on to it. And I remember me and all the women that were on that trip, because I went on that trip with my Haitian dance teacher. I've been studying Haitian folkloric dance and drumming since 2006, and I really need to get back to it because ever since 2020, 2021, I kind of fell off, okay? But I went there for that reason, and the trip was planned before the earthquake, but I'm not going to go off on that tangent. So anyhow, I remember I had never seen people like, everybody looked so strong and well put together. And I noticed that in New York when I would perform for a lot of Haitian events. Like, I always felt like that. Haitian people are really beautiful. Like, the bone structure, the body structure, that was something I always noticed because I didn't grow up around Haitians. I actually grew up around Dominicans. I grew up around Dominicans. I had some Jamaican friends, definitely New Yorican and Puerto Rican friends, Jewish friends. But there were no Haitians in my part of New York or in my area. It wasn't until I grew up that I started meeting a lot of Haitians, and I love Haitians to death, and I know tons of Haitians now, but like back then I remember that staying in my mind. So then when I went to Haiti in 2010, I just noticed that, and the earthquake had just happened, and there was not a defeated spirit in Haiti, okay? Like, there was not a defeated spirit. It was just positive energy, a beautiful energy from the time we stepped off the plane, okay? And I do remember, though, okay, and this is the thing that I want to talk about with all the countries in the Caribbean and South America, okay, because everywhere I go in the Caribbean and South America and Central America, this rings true, what I'm about to say, to different degrees, okay? So I do remember, okay, I had never seen so much Wonder Bread in my life, okay? It was everywhere. And of course, this is after earthquakes, so people are given rations, and you never want to be in this situation. Sometimes we can't help what happens to us, but to your best ability, you don't want to be in a situation where you're dependent on rations or give handouts or donations or whatever. Because what they donate to people is the worst, okay? A whole bunch of ultra-processed stuff, a bunch of canned stuff, a bunch of stuff with a bunch of chemicals. And someone can say, oh, the person's hungry and they're starving and they're broke, anything will do. But you really don't ever want to eat that. It's just not good. It's not good. You want to eat real food, okay? And have access to real food, period, point blank. All that packaged, processed chemical stuff is a plan to poison you. Okay, I'm not even going to talk too much about that because my stuff is always getting blocked. So let me just leave that at that. All right, just use your critical thinking skills. Now, I also remember in Haiti that there was so much soda and it was hot as hell. And I don't even drink soda. And I'm also not a big juice drinker unless I'm hot. Like when I'm in a hot, humid place, I'm constantly drinking juice. But if I'm not like hot in a hot and humid place, or I'm not in the gym working out, I don't really drink juice. I don't drink. I don't even be thinking about that. But I remember that we were going all through Haiti, and everywhere we stopped, there was a bunch of people trying to sell us soda. And I didn't see coconut. I'm like, I want soda and beer. And I'm like, I just want some coconut water. Like, I just want some. I'm so dehydrated that it's too hot. The last thing I could think about looking at is soda or beer. And nobody had juice or coconut water. I remember that too when I was in Kingston, but that was like 2006. It could be different now. I remember there was the same thing. I saw more people drinking pineapple soda than I saw them drinking pineapple juice. All right? Okay. So, but I do remember in that trip, I started to think critically about pork because Haitians eat a lot of pork. And we were being given pork every day. And the people who were on the trip who were vegans, okay, a few white girls who were vegans, they were eating, and maybe there was a couple black girls in there too. They were eating like bread all the time. Like, I don't know, bread and pickles. I don't know what they were eating. And it's like, dude, that's the eating disorder. Are you serious? Do you see how strong and amazing all the people are around us? And they eat tons of pork. But you think you're so convinced that it's so bad that you're going to sit and eat bread and freaking cabbage all week. Okay, so when I started to think about that in Haiti, I started to think all the people in my family who lived to be close to 100, okay, in the 100-year range, they all ate lots of pork. And people been eating pork. Like, if you look at Cuba, you can't even eat in Cuba if you don't eat pork. Like, they don't even really eat seafood like that. They make that for tourists, it seems like to me. They love pork, okay? All the Spanish-speaking countries love some ham, love some pork, okay? I don't care if it's Colombia, I don't care if it's Mexico. Go to Spain, all they do is eat pork in Spain, okay? Okay, now, a lot of the Koreans, the Japanese, pork. The Japanese ramen places, pork broth, pork, and more pork. The Italians eat a lot of pork. People talk about the Mediterranean diet. Lard is the main fat in the Mediterranean diet. Not olive oil that people keep talking about, which again, remember what I told you, olive oil and lard both are high in oleic acid. So they're actually pretty similar. Like, for example, most black Americans make their collard greens with some type of pork in it. Some might use turkey neck or whatever. I never made greens. My mom always does it. So, but a lot of black Americans will put pork in it, bacon, or I don't know, ham or whatever, some type of pork. My mom always made her greens with olive oil, and my mom's greens are really good, and everybody always loves her greens. Okay, they're amazing, but they don't taste really different to me than. Oops. Okay, they don't really taste that different to me from people who do use pork. But come to find out, olive oil and pork are both high in oleic acid, so they're similar, except that lard is very high in vitamins A and D, and olive oil is not, okay? And then there's some different fatty acid differences as well. Also, the lard is going to have cholesterol, and the olive oil does not, and we do want cholesterol, okay? We're not trying to avoid cholesterol, because remember, all of your sex hormones are made from cholesterol. Your testosterone, your estrogen, your progesterone, okay? Your sex hormones and your stress hormones, okay? So you end up with severe hormonal issues. Men can end up with erection issues, low testosterone, not enough cholesterol, okay? Vitamin D. You can almost assume that we're all vitamin D deficient. Unless you're really going out your way and you're eating liver like twice a week, taking cod liver oil, eating lots of grass-fed butter and lots of, fish eggs and pasture lard, then you're probably vitamin D deficient, okay? And, yes, we can get vitamin D from the sun, but you still need a lot of cholesterol okay, for that to happen. Because vitamin D is made from cholesterol. All right? Okay. Excuse me. Okay, I don't want to get too far off the topic. Sorry. So the pork, okay? So the Polynesian Islands. Basically everybody except Muslim countries eat a lot of pork. Dominicans, also very well built people. The men and the women. I love it because as a New Yorker, as somebody who, likes to observe bodies and have something to look at that's stimulating, because I'm also an artist, but not separate from being an artist. I feel like I need to drink something. Separate from being an artist, everybody likes to look at eye candy too, right? Well, there's a lot of that here, okay? And it's not just the women. People talk about the woman all the time. Yes, there's a lot of beautiful women. A lot of beautiful men too, okay? So I'm just going to say that. Very well built people in the Dominican Republic, okay? And I noticed that in my neighborhood growing up. They eat a lot of pork, okay? Yeah, they eat a lot of pork, okay. So, and every time I see somebody who's the oldest person in the world, like there was a woman in Haiti who died, I don't know, it was a few months ago, and I don't know if they said she was the oldest woman in Haiti or she was the oldest woman on this hemisphere, but she was 100 and something. And I'm like, I know that woman ate a lot of pork. You see the oldest woman in America, like she'll be like in South Carolina, 100 and something. Somebody who's 100 and something and is from South Carolina, Georgia, anywhere down south, or in Haiti, or in Jamaica, or in Cuba, they would eat a lot of pork. Trust me, okay? Trust me. So it's time for people to use critical thinking skills. Okay, so I was in Santo Domingo first, and Santo Domingo is a busy city. Okay. The air quality, I don't feel like was the best. It wasn't as bad as when I was in Senegal. When I was in Senegal, when I was in Senegal, my throat and my lungs hurt from the dirt in the air. Okay. It was really bad in Senegal. I'm very sensitive to air. That's one thing. It's raining here right now. And you can't see how it looks, and I can't flip the camera around because I'm on my laptop and I'm on my phone, and I can't flip it around. But if you look on my other page, Makeda Voletta Travels, you'll see all around me. Okay, it's very lush and it's raining. Okay, and it takes a lot of rain to have that lushness, right? But I can breathe here. When I was in Santo Domingo, I was blowing my nose all day. Okay? So let me tell you something about mucus. And I wasn't coughing up mucus. It wasn't like that. It was I just constantly, it wasn't post-nasal drip. It wasn't running down my face. It was just I just kept having to blow my nose. And what that is, okay, your mucus membranes are mucus is a part of your immune system. Okay? Mucus is a part of, sorry, I'm reading the comments. Mucus is a part of our immune system, and mucus is eliminating something from our bodies. Okay, and the mucus membranes, vitamin A is responsible for that. Okay, we also have mucus membranes in the vagina. And so the vaginal mucus is also a part of our immune system, women. It's a part of keeping your vagina healthy. Okay, mucus helps to eliminate toxins, and if you're being exposed to too much, your body creates mucus to get rid of it. Now, if somebody has an overproduction of mucus where they're choking on it, that's not good. That is your immune system going haywire, and you have a serious problem. But somebody, having a normal amount of mucus, that's part of your immune system, and it's a good thing. Your immune system is working, right? So you won't get sick because your body's getting this out of you. Just like with sneezing and coughing. That's why we don't want to hold in sneezes and coughs, because your body's trying to eliminate something, right? Okay, so when I was in Santo Domingo, I was constantly blowing my nose. But from the first time I walked in there, anyhow, when I first walked in the Airbnb, there was a strong smell of air freshener, right? And I cannot stand the artificial chemical scents of air freshener. It really makes me sick, okay? And I need to be places where I can open the windows, which is one of the reasons why I absolutely despise hotels, especially hotels where I can't open the window. Like now there are some hotels where you can open the window, but a lot of hotels you couldn't open the window. And I can't stand that, you know what I'm saying? I need fresh air. I need circulation of air. I hate being closed up with no circulation of air. And then you have every chemical that somebody has sprayed. Okay, the cleaning chemicals, people's perfume that they spray in, people's hairspray, every cough, every sneeze, every fart that somebody made is still in that room. I can't. Same thing with the hospital. That's gross. Hospitals and gyms hospitals, gyms, and hotels need to open their damn windows. Okay, that's just nasty. So I like to be places where there's like a lot of fresh air. So here, I haven't blown my nose at all, not once, because there's not all these artificial chemicals that I'm closed up in. As soon as I got in my Airbnb in Santo Domingo, I opened the windows. Okay, and I kept it open. I kept everything open the whole time. I'm like, that air freshener, and it was like that in Senegal too. The Airbnb I stayed at, there was constant air pressure, and I don't know where it was coming from, but it was constant. It was making me so sick. And when I was in Santo Domingo, I remember I went to the bathroom in my Airbnb to get toilet paper to blow my nose, and the toilet paper had chemicals, like scents on it. And I'm like, oh my God, I can't stand all those chemical scents. I'll lay in somebody's bed, okay? I've laid in people's bed before, and I could tell that whatever they washed their sheets with was, I don't know if they were using dryer sheets or some shit, with some heavy scents. That stuff makes me sick. It just smells like artificial chemicals to me. It does not smell good. Like, I don't know how that smells good to people. Like, air fresh, all that stuff. I'll go to somebody's house. I'll go to a dude's house. He'll invite me over. I can walk in, and the windows are closed, and he got the damn plugins. I'm like, oh my God, no. I can't do it. I don't understand how people don't notice that. But let me tell you, they're highly carcinogenic. If you're driving around in your car with those artificial freshener trees hanging from you're breathing in cancer-causing chemicals all day, greatly increasing your chances of getting cancer, okay? So, yeah, so that was over there. Open everything, but, like, Santo Domingo's really dirty, and, you know, the air. See, people talk about New York, but New York has way more trees, and it depends on where you are in New York, too. But generally speaking, as a city, there's way more trees. But, like, some of these Spanish-speaking countries don't have areas where, like, the sidewalk is this narrow, okay? And it's like narrow little streets, and the worst car exhaust or whatever coming out the back of the cars. And then it's hot on top of that. So to me, hot and humid and dirty is just a bad mix. And then dirty air is a bad mix. And so there's a lot of that. Yeah, I know why hotels and windows stop with the balconies, and I know because they didn't want balconies and windows because they want people jumping out. I know, but that's why I don't stay at hotels. That's why I'm at an Airbnb with a big ass balcony. And even inside my Airbnb, there's no air conditioner. There's a ceiling fan. If you look at my other video, I showed it, but there's ceiling fans in there. There's no air conditioning, and all the windows are automatically open with the screen. I like that. I don't, you know what I'm saying? I can't stand that artificial air and the artificial heat. That shit makes me, the artificial heat that they have when I'm in a hotel room, I feel like I'm drying out. Then they have the carpets. Oh my God, those carpets gross me the fuck out. Carpets also hold a lot of toxic. So that's why as soon as I walk into a hotel, I cannot breathe. It's the carpet. It's the no fresh air. Every single cough, sneeze, fart, chemical, hairspray, whatever, the motherfucking people, cleaning chemicals, just staying in the god. No, I can't breathe as soon as I walk in the lobby. So if I must stay at a hotel, I like ones that don't have a carpet, which is hard. Ones that have a balcony, which can be hard. At the very least, they need to open a window, okay? So, talking about cleaning chemicals. Hold on. My other camera is about to die, so hold on. Hold on to the people on YouTube. I'm recording this on my other camera so I can repost it on Instagram. But that camera is dying, so hold on. Hold on. See, I need to put it. Hold on. trying to plug it up. Give me a second. See, I need camera people. You guys know I don't edit, so I don't have time for that. Spanish-speaking people, maybe I can, no, it needs to be. Spanish countries, it might be true in French countries too, I don't know. I just be in Spanish countries a lot. Only French-speaking countries I've been to is Paris, Haiti, and St. Martin. But I've been to a lot of Spanish-speaking countries. But anyhow, Spanish-speaking countries, they clean with really harsh chemicals, like Fabuloso. Okay, that shit is poison. As soon as I walk into a place where someone's cleaning with that, like earlier today, I was trying to find some tea and nobody had tea. They only had coffee because Spanish people, all they care about is coffee. I'm a tea drinker, but I like my matcha latte in the morning, or my yerba mate mixed with chai, but it's almost impossible to find in Latin America. So I walked into this one place and I really don't want coffee, but I am addicted to caffeine. I need caffeine every morning. That's the first thing I do before I do anything. And I can't do that here because, I can't do that here because now I'm in Samana, Las Tarenas, where there is no Uber Eats, and I have to walk down 1,000 stairs in a mountain into town to even get anything. Whereas in Santo Domingo, I could order, when I got up in the morning, I could order my matcha from Starbucks. They had Starbucks, which is the only reason why I like Starbucks is because they have matcha, when most people don't have matcha. And they had Starbucks in Santo Domingo, so I could get my matcha. But over here they don't. So that means if I'm in a Latin American country where there's no Starbucks, usually it's hard to find matcha. Most people don't have matcha. You love Santo Domingo? Yeah. Santo Domingo is cool. I like the Dominican Republic. I'm gonna come back. I want to see more parts of it. But yeah, Latin American countries, Colombia, Mexico, don't matter. If they have a Starbucks, I'm like, okay, then I can get my matcha. If they don't, there are places in Mexico City I saw that had matcha, but most people don't have matcha. Even in America, most coffee shops don't have it, and when they do, 80% of them don't have good matcha, okay? Because not all matcha is good matcha. A lot of people are serving bad matcha that's like bitter and gross. So Starbucks is the one place I know that has decent matcha, and it's, but other than that, you can't really find it in Latin America because they don't do tea. They are coffee drinkers, and I really don't want to drink coffee. But anyhow, so that's another thing about access, okay? That's another thing about access. In the United States, it's like, if you want tea, you can find tea. And if you want coffee, you can get coffee. But when I spend a lot of time in Latin America. I've been in Mexico, various parts of Mexico, various parts of Colombia, various parts of Costa Rica, one place in Spain, just Madrid. Where else? I've been to Puerto Rico, I've been to Cuba a couple times. I've been to Cuba 5 times, but 2 different parts of Cuba. Where else? Ecuador, Dominican Republic. I don't know if there's another Spanish-speaking country, but yeah, they don't do tea, okay? So I like the fact that in America I can find both of those things. Also, those of you who know me know I'm a big ice cream person. And ice cream can be a health food, and everybody loves ice cream. Ice cream actually is a health food if it's made from its natural ingredients, which is just milk. Ice cream should have milk, cream, egg yolks, sugar, maybe salt, and strawberries, okay? And different recipes have different percentages of how much fat, how much cream, or different people have different percentages, but that's what ice cream should have. Not guar gum and xanthan gum and carrageenan and diglycerides and this syrup and tapioca starch and all of that. I think I'm gonna stop my other camera that I'm doing for Instagram. I probably can't even post this full video on Instagram, but if I can, and you're watching this on Instagram, come to my YouTube and watch the rest of it. The Body Scientist 81.